Yeah.
So does this make sense for how the solution, how that all works?
Sorry, one more time. Can you repeat?
Yeah. Does this make sense for how the solution works?
But you mean Volta?
No, as in how the Android carrier privileges components work. So we take the app or the SDK.
Hello, Nick. Sorry. Can you one more time explain your question?
I just wanted to make sure that you understand how this works based on what I just explained, if that's clear.
No, now it's clear.
You know what? Can you explain your question? We did not get you, sir.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that you understood this flow that I've shown on the screen.
About that flow, okay, yeah. Не, смотри, вот, just a moment, we need to discuss internally, just a moment, okay? Вот смотри, он говорит, файл, который внутри этого сим-карты, да, он говорит, нам нужно будет свои данные ввести там.
Да, я помню.
После этого уже телефон с андроидом, вот я не знаю, вот этот должен взаимодействовать.
Вот смотри, в андроиде есть много функций. О чем говорю? В общем, если у нас на симке есть определенная запись, я не знаю, как это, то по этой записи мы можем получить сертификат. Вот этот сертификат, который он показывает, вот этот блок-схема, это предоставление доступа к функциям.
Функциям андроида.
Да, функциям андроида. Получили мы доступ. Дальше что?
Дальше, наверное,
вот здесь мы просто получили доступ. Грубо говоря, на основании сертификата и ключа на сим-карте мы получаем доступ к телефону.
Ну, дальше он говорит, okay, Nick, there is one question. You see, there is for example, we will set our parameter on the SIM card, yes? After that, we will get, how to say, it's access for Android, yes?
That's right, yeah.
That options, VoLTE options. But then, what will be? It will be after enable that function, or how it will work, yes? For example, on SIM card we will change some parameters, we will get approve, yes, it's access from phone, yes, from Android, yes, we will get. But if users is controlling by themselves, it's options VoLTE is enabled, that's all, or something need to do more?
Let me just share a phone screen that I've got here and I can show you how the app looks and what it does. So what would happen is you would tell us, here's our access point name, here's our IMS details for what we need to use, etc. And then we would load that onto our site and put that in. So let me share my screen with this phone.
Okay.
Сейчас он расшарит. Ну вот, на всякий случай я вам скажу. Значит, чтобы получить доступ, нужно установить приложение, которое будет взаимодействовать с сим-картой. И, грубо говоря, это приложение наше получит привилегию.
Ну, приложение где мы установили?
На телефоне, на андроиде.
И вот Android у нас не у нас Android. Мы как? Где-то везде будем просить народ.
Получается, что абонент через Play Market должен поставить некое приложение, которое будет взаимодействовать с сим-картой и получит разрешение.
Nick, one more question. You see, there is a user must download from App Store, from like Play Market, some application need to install by themselves, yes?
Well, do you have an existing Android app that you use today for things like managing
we have an Android app. It's like Babylon Mobile, and it's like we have a like my Babylon. It's like my wallet, like it's
so
like
we tie this into the existing My Babylon app.
Oh yeah.
So what we do is we just provide what's called an SDK, a software development kit, And what happens is your existing app and everyone who's already got that app installed can then access it. Does that make sense?
It means we need to set that parameter where we can control from My Babylon, yes, from our existing application.
That's right. So it's one line of code that we add into the existing My Babylon app. What we do is we say include the Octo SDK, so include our software development kit. And once we've done that, then it's rolled out onto any customer in that process.
It's just for Android, yes? That's
Just for Android, yeah.
Вот смотри, если мы получаем разрешение клавиш, дропить, то все это получается, мы можем даже иметь доступ к вот этим звонкам, которые есть на телефоне. И quality это, соответственно, радиопараметр. Мы можем смотреть радиопараметр.
You see, there is a monitoring CX. We can see we can see the report of real time customer experience, dropped calls, call quality. That's all detail we can see from the phone or from some application. We can control it.
So what happened was we developed this app just to make vaulting work, but because we had that really low level access into Android itself, not only were we able to turn on Vaulty and automatically set the APM configuration, steering and roaming, tethering, Wi-Fi calling, those sorts of things, but we're also able to monitor things like when a call drops, we can monitor that and then report to our centralized logging solution, to what we call our data lake, of, for example, when a call drops, where the call dropped, so that you can then create a map showing here are the parts of the network where there are problems. So we can create like drive testing. It means that we don't need to drive test the network because we're collecting crowdsourced data from people who have this app loaded.
So it means that for this you needed some tool, yes? Some your tools, yes?
That's right. So we provide just a web interface to access this data, but then we can hook that into Atoll, Menton Planet, or any other different app that you're using, where we can where we can pull all the statistics from the real life users and then report based on how the network is performing. Does that make sense?
Приложение будет
это
API, который
Absolutely.
может посылать данные.
There's free key components to
Замерять,
this.
посылать
Sorry, Nick. Can you back to that?
The map.
Yeah, there is a before. Yeah, that's a. I mean, for example, we have on the network 200k, 200,000. It's a subscriber, yes, on Volti. We can collect data, yes, from that all the device and can draw some like that topology, or we can see
Exactly.
for example, I can see like on that distance or some it's like city. It's there is.
The customer doesn't need to enter it in. We can source that information.
Да. Вот, Nick, there is a one more question for we have a before practice for we meet situation for some Android phone we need to set like APN manually.
Yeah, so we can do that too. So one of the things that we can do is we can set the APN configuration so that when you get the phone, the customer doesn't need to set the APN. We set the APN for them. That way they don't need to worry about setting the correct APN on their phone. We just make sure that they've got the correct APN.
It will
So
be
I
after
just-
will work for him, yes, for the subscriber.
Yeah.
But
So I've just
that's a situation. You see, there is a some phone is no need to add that APN. It will be just configure on HSS, yes. But for some phone we need to add. We cannot get that moment why we need to do that two options, yes. It's a situation is different for some phone models.
So I'm going to delete the APN on this this phone. So you just remove this. So I'll delete the APN, and I'm going to turn off VoLTE. On some phones you can see this switch, on some phones you can't.
Yeah.
So there's no access point name, that's not selected. Now that's selected, but I'll unselect it. There we go, no APN set, and VoLTE is turned on, right? Now I'm going to open the app. This is our engineering app, and it tells us, this is in Spanish, but it says VoLTE is not configured. So what I can do is I can now tell it, this is the engineering version, but I can say automatically reconfigure the phone for me. And so what it's doing, that's setting the access point name, that's enabling VoLTE, access point name, turning on preferred network, setting the access point name for IMS. Now if I go back to the settings, let's go to settings, SIM cards, here, VoLTE is turned on, and the access point name is set in the background. You can't see it because we've done it in the background, but now the access point name is set, and VoLTE is turned on for this network. So essentially you would provide us your access point name, your tethering details, etc. And then this will configure the settings for the user automatically. This is the test version, so we show what it's changing and how it's configuring it. And also because I'm not connected to the network at the moment, it's reporting that I'm not connected because I don't have a signal here. It's turned off roaming. But this is what its configuration is that you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Это даже саму галочку в LTE получается, мы сможем включать абонент.
Ну да,
в котором будет это возможно. И через это приложение мы будем иметь доступ к Android-функции.
Это приложение они будут писать?
Да, это их решение.
Да?
Ну, будем так сказать, это он нам показал, что в Android, что в Google есть такая возможность. Да. В принципе, не обязательно, что они, мы, к примеру, не знали.
Или это будет
как теперь применяются параметры IMS?
Do you have any information about parameters of IMS? It's how we can apply or?
I do. Let me grab the list for you. Hang on. Let me bring up the list.
Еще потом просто это на всех, вот это на каких Android-версиях?
Выше пятого.
Выше пятого. На всех выше
пятого.
Да, старенький тоже, как говорят.
Помнишь, мы в свое время говорили про сертификат? Вот это и есть. Мы не знаем, как это делать.
Ну, про этого не знаю.
Так мы и сейчас не знаем. Мы просто знаем, что вот они сделали.
Ну, это человек, который практиковал, показывает. Говорит, у меня есть решение.
Да.
Мы вендору обращались. Вендор там говорил, что это.
Он будет по абонентам продавать или как?
Нет, он сейчас посчитает, он скажет какое-то решение.
Он предложит, скажет. Это он нам предложит application.
Да.
Либо он свой предложит, либо наш
Он все решение предоставит.
И чтобы абонента не путать другим, так как у них уже MyVavilon есть, нам легче шагать через него. Не,
внутри
да? Просто они обновятся.
Ты сейчас, когда будешь нажмешь и все. Говорить, включить VLT, нажмешь кнопочку, ты нажал, и он тебя АПМ все пропишет. Сертификат установит и все пропишет.
Сразу APN добавить, если нужно. Сразу галочку включить и сразу параметры там модели телефона, где нужно там строчку добавить, чтобы VLT активировался.
Просто когда абоненту ты говоришь, установи, пожалуйста, вот это ТО, он не будет устанавливать.
Да. Когда
Это
My
ты
Babylon,
ущемляешь какие-то эти. Там это внутри My Babylon, для него комфортно будет.
конечно. Он просто обновит, даже у кого скачано.
Вот он показывает функции разработчика. Вот они все, которые можно делать. Это мы можем изучить. От этого уже будет видно, насколько это большой доступ.
Но мониторинг сикс это уже дополнительная фича получается.
Да.
Уже отдельно.
То, что он показывает все радио.
Да, чтобы
Ну,
радиопараметры.
это для улучшения нашей сети, показатель нашей
Ну,
сети.
это мы можем, к примеру, колл-центр звонит и конкретно вот запросить качество.
Ты это можешь...
Не, а
Нет,
если-
это запустишь.
Зачем колл-центр? Я
Вот это
монитор
запустишь?
открываю,
Да.
Ты тоже можешь.
я открываю, смотрю, проблемы,
мониторинг
планировки идут,
сразу.
сразу решать.
Он
То есть это больше нам сюда надо.
Показывает
Где в
сразу.
Уфлана лучше.
Можно так.
Мне колл-центр, поверь,
Зачем
никогда
колл-центр?
это не делали, они на готовом живут.
Ну, да, но это можно сделать. Даже
Нет,
оптимизатор,
зачем колл-центр?
чтобы проверить качество у этого абонента, может онлайн запросить и посмотреть,
Да,
Ну,
да, да.
Где
Это
сигнал
да.
проводит?
какой у него уровень сигнала, какое
Ну,
качество.
имеется в виду первое время, когда планировщики улучшат и вот эти красных
Параметры.
цветов не будет, у нас все зеленое будет.
А то, что ты
считается,
говоришь,
абонентов
это набор статистических данных и анализ. Это значит, приложение не по запросу, а будет
Ну,
периодически
он говорит, у нас есть такая опция, которую уже можем собрать.
Периодически,
Вот
Да,
это,
да, да.
эту фишку есть у Теле2 приложений. Уже.
Они собирают.
Телефон,
Ну,
что ли?
я могу писать где-то.
Как сети говорят, да?
Нет, там качество сети, он сам отправляет
Запрещки.
оператору
Да.
данные.
Ну, то же самое.
Да, то же самое, да? Сразу так. Не, зиплайны, ну, да.
Okay, maybe we will check if you cannot find some information. Okay, it's later we can check maybe.
Ну, вот он
If
сейчас.
you need more time.
It's a very long list if you have a look here. So,
Okay.
but in terms of forcing VoLTE while roaming, not forcing VoLTE roaming, allowing video calling, Wi-Fi calling, setting the preference for Wi-Fi calling being Wi-Fi only, cellular preferred, Wi-Fi preferred. Can you make emergency calls on voice over Wi-Fi? Many using IMS for emergency calling, SMS escape characters. Essentially, there are a lot of different parameters that we can set here that we can control on the phone. It's a very long list. You know, even things like visual voicemail we can control.
Okay.
So we can configure any setting that is available on the phone, if that makes sense.
Great.
So do you support conference calling, you know, enhanced 4G, hiding the IMS APN, hiding the preferred network type, allowing the customer to edit voice over Wi-Fi preferences, all of the things that are defined normally inside a carrier bundle, we can control. Does that make sense?
Okay, I understand. Мы сами, наверное, будем копать дальше.
Ну, вот он конкретно код показывает, как это
Ну,
в
да.
коде делается.
Тут говорит слишком обширно вот этот список,
Да,
но
да,
как-то конкретно это. Okay, we can continue our presentation if we did not finish. We can continue.
Sure. Yeah, so obviously we've spoken about managing the device settings, including the APN, but the other thing that we can do is we can monitor the performance of the network, so finding black spots and then using that information to target our investment in upgrading the network. So building RAN is expensive. You don't want to be building cell sites in areas where they're not used. So by monitoring the network performance, we can make sure that we're investing in the network in the right place. And on monitoring the customer experience, we're able to see how fast was the internet connection where the customer was. Did their calls drop? Did they run out of coverage? And if so, where were they when they ran out of coverage, for example? So we collect all of that data, and because we're able to get low-level information, we can get RSRP, RSRQ, download speed, upload speed, you know, reporting on dropped calls, and have all of that information uploaded to a server, and you can run reports on it. So the three things that we do are we monitor the device settings, So that's what we've spoken about with the access point names and faulty. We monitor the customer experience so that we see have they been dropping calls, has the customer had a good experience of the network, and then we monitor the performance of the network as well so we can see areas that are congested or slow or where there's limited coverage. Does that make sense? That then allows us to create maps like this of the network. So we've got these maps now for all of Mexico because we've got this app on lots of phones in Mexico, so we can see how the different networks perform using crowdsourced data instead of having to rely on drive testing. Any questions on that?
No, it's okay.
So this is a use case that we use. So there's a tower in the right-hand corner here that we previously had serving this area. But the problem that we ran into is that when we did drive testing at street level, all of the statistics looked good for this area. Everything looked like it should be fine. But then what happened was we kept getting complaints from our customers telling us that they couldn't get coverage in the residential areas that you see here on this side of the screen. And the reason why was we had enough signal that at the street level we could get in, but these houses are made of metal. And what that meant was the signals couldn't get into the houses. So we had all of these people who, if they were outside, would have had coverage on the street. But as soon as they went inside, the coverage dropped. And that's where this app has been really useful for us as well. So as well as being able to make bulky work for these customers, we're also able to see, do they have coverage in their houses? Do they have coverage on private property, places that we couldn't otherwise drive test? We were able to get data for. So because the phones are collecting the data, the real life end users collect the data, rather than us just collecting the data through drive test, we're able to see how the network performs for
Understood.
У меня такой вопрос, это может дальше. Это только в родной сети мы можем делать или в роуминге тоже можно как-то
В роуминге его отдельно.
В роуминге уже никак не получится, там уже другая сеть, поэтому
У них про роуминг тоже есть тема.
Почему роуминг не получится?
не получится.
Ну, это же наш абонент.
Да, наш абонент в роуминге получится.
Ну, какая вот?
Ну вот посмотреть, например, куда он
Вон,
звонит.
смотри, про роуминг, Володь, смотри. Он говорит, стилинг of roaming, он подчеркивает, видишь?
Не стилинг.
Не, ну он это,
Nick, for example, I go to Canada, yes? I will register on that network on LTE, but I will use home network for VoLTE. Also,
That's right, yep.
also we can collect some data, yes, for my number. It's located on that area, and
We can, yep. We can also, which is quite useful, let's say you have a roaming agreement with Bell Canada, and you also have a roaming agreement with TELUS. But let's imagine that TELUS is cheaper than Bell Canada. So you want to preference using the TELUS network over the Bell Canada network. We can plug this information into the SDK so that it will always try and preference using the TELUS network whenever the TELUS network is present in Canada over the Bell Canada network, which is more expensive. So we can collect all this data for the subscribers who are roaming, and we can also do what's called steering of roaming, where we get the cheapest roaming deal. We feed that information in so that we preference the cheapest networks you use when roaming, when you've got multiple networks to choose from.
it's mean you see there is a we have a problem now with roaming. For example, I will go to Russia, and that Russia we have an agreement with some big operators. Yes, I need to register my subscriber on his network. We can control. Yes, we can set that parameter. It's after we'll go to that network, or we cannot.
That's right. Yeah, so we can set which networks we preference, so that if you preference, say, Megaphone or one of the other Russian operators over a different operator, say B-Mobile over Megaphone, you can set that priority list, and then that will make sure that you will always use your first priority when your first priority network is available.
It's good because we want to get that solution. We need to we are checking that before how we can choose that operator like preferred network for us. Yes.
Yeah. So that's called steering of roaming.
Yeah.
Is the name of the technology.
Okay. But you know, steering of roaming, we are controlling by other part. It's from our network element side. Yes?
On the HSS,
HSS, yes,
right.
and
So
STP we can
is
drop
control
requests.
from the phone side.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we can
But-
control it from the phone side, which is smarter.
But
Because
I
the phone
think
knows which networks it can see. Whereas from the STP, you
Yeah.
get a request in on Megapod,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you want to use Mobile. But you don't know what other networks are available. When we do this from the phone side, we know what networks are available before we make the decision, instead of just rejecting one network and letting a rescan to try and find another network.
But you see, there is if we are using from like priority from the SIM card, it will be more comfortable for subscriber. It will be more faster. He will choose that network. Yes, it's by after. It's every time is we will send. We will get from the network is disconnect like release the request. Yes.
Exactly.
After some
It's not
moment
good
I
for
will go,
customers.
or maybe it's like that band need to analyze all. Yes, it's a scanning all phone is will scan. It's after some times he will come. Maybe it will take some time for registration. It will be more much better, I think. For us, it's prefer by priority. Good.
That's right. Yeah. So we can do both. Obviously, you can still do it on the SIM card, but we can do this. We can do this through
But
through
it's
the SDK.
there is some parameters. Yes, it's like for example on megaphone we need to set priority, or we can set PLMN priority. Here is on some file.
That's right. Yeah. So the other thing that we can do is from the app we can modify the settings on the SIM card, because the app has got that privileges. The phone can detect that you have landed in Russia and set the priority list on the SIM card.
Okay, good. Okay, we can continue.
Right. Sorry. Alright, so we've spoken about this, we've spoken about that. The next thing is obviously to make it work, we need to update your existing SIM cards to put this file onto the SIMs. So to do that requires the OTA. We can provide an OTA solution, or if you've got your own OTA, you can use that to update, and we can work with you to get that OTA campaign run. Who are your existing SIM vendors today?
Okay,
Manufacturers.
it's a Moldova. Unipay, да, или Unifan?
Unifan.
Фан, как пишется?
Фон.
Фон, вот так?
Thank you. Yeah, I've just found this is
It's like Moldova.
this.
No, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so they provide your SIM cards, or they provide the OTA.
But
SIM card.
we are using sometimes that OTA commands for some changing, but not so more time. But sometimes we are using that from their solution. It's OTA.
Right. Okay. So if you have existing OTA, then we would work with Unifun to get the updates to your SIMs rolled out. And if you don't, we can provide you an OTA solution
Your
to
solution,
update
yes?
your existing SIMs.
Okay.
That's right. But if you already have one that works, we'll work with your existing one.
Но у нас точно есть, да?
Чё?
ОТА с Unifan. Или нам дешевле обойдется их использовать, это
Или-
Unifan, или их
Ихний спор.
Я не точно.
Это уже после того, как он даст коммерческий.
Okay. But now we have Unifan, but
Один
Okay,
вопрос.
maybe about
Мы
that
щас
some
чью
operation we need to
платформу
discuss with them. Can we do or
Yes,
it's how much it will be for us
Huh?
or that moment, yes, we need to discuss with them
Да,
about service.
юнифановская, да? Да.
Cool. And if that's not something they can
Это
provide,
для
that's
нас, но
something
международная, но
Okay,
юнифан, да?
it's good, great.
Всё
great.
там.
All right.
Семейные тебе, то есть.
So yeah. Yeah, that's the end of this. So any questions in terms of what we've spoken about so far?
It's very interesting for us, but also we told before you, it's we need to commercial proposal, yes, for that solution
Of course.
from your side.
Yeah. I'll get you pricing for 200,000 subscribers
Yeah,
to
yeah.
turn on Volti for all of those. And to
You are
enable-
sorry, Nick. You are calculating by subscriber, yes? It's,
That's right. So
right.
it's a per subscriber cost.
Okay. But for our planning is we need to get 200,000 Volti subscriber.
That's right.
Оттуда
So,
вот
so
этот
we'll
перформанс
quote for you
попадает?
for
Ну, это
200,000
все комплексно.
licenses for those 200,000 subscribers.
По количеству абонентов, да?
Количество, да.
Выдать мне.
But you showed us it's all that you have a more detailed report. All will be exist, yes, on our that contract services. I mean,
That's
like,
right. So,
all
so
full
we
options.
give
it will be,
you
yeah?
we give you pre-made report templates, and if you need custom reports, we can create custom reporting as well.
Okay.
Ну, предположим, что это да.
Good. Okay, put up there. Nick. Okay, Nick, we will wait from your side that proposal, yes, for our that services. Then we will
Great.
discuss with our managers. Also, we can do like some test, or we cannot for some
Yeah,
simple
so-
users.
What we can do, one of two different ways. So we can send you some SIM cards that, and along with the data for those SIM cards that you load into your HSS,
Okay.
and then a version of the app that's just for engineers. So not the same version that would go into your existing, not the same version that would go into the Battle on Mobile app, but a version like the one that I showed where you can see the settings so that you can see it and test it and confirm that it works.
Это сейчас.
Чё?
Он
Да,
говорит,
сим-карту.
сим-карту, говорит, мы можем отправить вам это для тестов, но я так понимаю, это уже его тестовой зоне, он заведен, это он может это контролировать. Discuss with you. If some
Great.
question.
I will send you my number on that email thread now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Хорошего
Bye
вечера,
bye.
видимо.
Goodbye.
Бегунили здесь.
Бегунили?
Мачтесь вообще.
Видишь,
Абсолютно.
какие интересные вещи рассказали. А мы сидим, бля, фантастика, блядь.
Ой, совет.
Мы там телефоны проверяем. Там люди уже
Давно это прошли,
управляют, блядь, телефонами до последнего бита удаленно, блядь.
А ты боксер, расскажи, вот такой чувак.
Его он позовет сюда, бля. Пускай придет к нам. Ну, их решение, значит, в моем Вавилоне или их будет приложение, что делать?
Да.
Одно из
это
двух.
приложение.
И
Их
вот
хватает.
та платформа их
Он
должна быть.
взаимодействует
Ну, смотрите,
через
наверное,
один
если
Android.
он
Я понял.
сейчас свою ОТА скажет, может быть, дороже скажет. Может быть, нашу попробуем взять.
Вот
На нашей будет это работать?
Не, а
Через
наша ОТА платформа этот поменяет.
Да. Ну, там, я не знаю, дополнительно файл какой-то добавится или поменяется. Он же не сказал тебе. Ну, на симке изменения
На симке изменения и приложение будет.
и приложение. На симке это как ключ. Добавляется ключ.
Ключ для андроида.
Да.
Чтобы он имел параметры.
Да. И по этому ключу нам, типа, скорее всего, это Google выдаст сертификат взаимодействия с вот этим ключом. Он будет открывать
Ну, да, я да-то. А?
Как минимум, конечно.
Он же там
какой-то ключ у них есть,
А мы
который
маемся сегментов,
Android, короче,
больше
проходит.
Да, ну, там некий математический алгоритм.
Я понял. Ну,
Туда ключ вот этот подставляется, и в результате хэш возвращает. Вот он берет.